Hello and welcome back to another episode of The Pursuit of Myself. I'm in the thick of it at the moment. And it was really interesting because my partner is like, how are you? And I said, I just got a lot going on. And he's like, but you always have a lot going on. I was like, shit, you're right. So it has me actually curious as to whether that is like a deflection, whether that is like a bit of a, little t trauma response to not feeling supported. I have really deep dive into that question because the fact is, so many of us, all of us always have so much going on, and we make these statements like it's something that like we die by our sword, or you can't help me, I've got so much going on. And in all the identity work that I do, these little things pop up, and sometimes we get that mirror, that reflection back, and we get to stop and assess and listen to our voice, to our words, to how we're showing up, and get really, really curious. And I do get curious about this because, yes, I think, and anyone who's watched or listened to any of my earlier episodes about becoming Rain Bryant, a lot of the masks that I wore were Superwoman masks. And I could do it all. And I did it all at a high level. I was high achieving, I have high capacity. I raised my children, and they were 2, 4, and 6 when we separated, which makes it exactly 10 years since I separated. That's a really long time. But also in this growing and in this identity, in this reflection work, these little habits, these old patternings and conditionings come back out. And I feel like I'm letting this one come back out again. In the, I will say, in the energy of growth, this is where we get to have a look at how we are showing up now, because this isn't about I've gone backwards. I'm not going, I've gone backwards and my old patterns, but this is a little bit of programming re-entering into my life of, I've got a lot on. And what does that actually mean? I used to use that as a defense mechanism. Leave me alone. I'll do it myself. I don't want to look weak. I don't want to look incapable. I don't want to look like I need anyone. But now I think when I say that, it's like, I do. I would love support. I'd love a bit of extra time. I'd love a bit of extra connection. And so this is the growth journey as I constantly take you guys on. This is where you get to start looking at yourself as well. What are the words that you're saying? Are we coming from old wounding? Are we using it for growth? Are we getting curious? Are we being radically honest with ourselves? Are we looking at ourselves as, okay, let's take an assessment now. How am I going? What is going on? Am I numbing? Am I avoiding? Am I deflecting? Because this is the journey, ladies and gentlemen. The journey is not in the end of the destination. The journey is in the micro moments that we show up for ourselves and for others every single day. The journey is in those micro moments, and then sitting back at the end of the day going, is there any truth to that statement? You say that all the time. Oh, interesting. Why? And I could have got defensive and gone, oh, well, you should be there for me more. Oh, well, and thrown it back if it was a little trigger. But instead we sit and we reflect. And this is the journey. The happiness is in the journey. The growth is in the journey. The identity expansion's in the journey, because this is what we get to move through every single day when you are in this work. Because I guarantee you, the ones who are listening to this for business, when you move through this work daily, it changes the way you show up on social media. When you are learning and being curious about yourself, it changes the way that you coach your clients. When you are doing the work, showing up in your business, whether that's bricks and mortar, whether that's in wherever it is, you constantly self-investigating is going to bring in better clients, bring in more money. It just does. So anyone that comes to me feeling stuck, these are one of the first things that we do. Let's have a look at your micro moments. Let's have a look at your habits. Let's have a look at your default systems. And I do that because this is what I embody, and I'm sharing this every single day. So that is just a little, I actually want to keep this episode really short and sharp, because as you can probably already tell, I'm really revved up at the moment. I'm really excited to bring you this one because I feel deeply like this is a topic that is not even a topic. This is a default way of living or thinking or mindset that so many people are in at the moment in this world of fast pace. Let's get it done, and let's just get started with the episode. I think let's go there. Welcome to the Pursuit of Myself, the podcast. Here we take ownership of our healing. We rewrite the rules, we turn knowledge into wisdom, and we lead our lives with intention. I'm your host, Rain, and it's my mission to empower you to get back into the driver's seat of your life. Now, if you are looking for the shortcut in your life, then this episode might annoy the hell out of you. Because the woman that you are becoming, or the woman that you want to become, she is not built in the quick wins. And I'm going to say that again. She is not built in the quick wins. She is built in the boredom. She's built in the repetition. She's built in the consistency that no one sees and no one applauds. And in those days where it's not glamorous, it's not validating, where it's not fast, when you're not signing clients, when you're not making shitloads of money, like that's the days, they are the experiences that actually build the woman that you are becoming. Now, I can guarantee you one thing, and hear this deeply. If you keep chasing the shortcut, you will keep rebuilding the same ceiling and life and experience over and over again. Now, you can look out in your life and see this everywhere. I mean, when did injecting ourselves with stuff become so the norm? Yes, I'm not talking just to Botox. I'm talking every time I switch on my Instagram, it's like peptides and BP1 and 540 and blah. Now, this is not me running against the health and running against all this stuff that's going on, right? This is a pattern that I've seen people's lives from very early on, from the moment Botox came out, from the moment, weight loss came out, for whatever it is. We're all looking for the quick fix, the hack, the how do I get to where I want to go the fastest? Just tell me what to do. What's the fastest way to? And I just have been reflecting a lot on it lately, because I'm, again, not going to sit here and go, well, they haven't been out for long and we need to trust that and they should be out for a long time. It was the same with the COVID injection. There was so much of it that was just like, bang, fix me, bang, protect me, bang. And I know deeply that when we all sit with ourselves, we will all come up with different reasons, different life experiences, different goals that will have us leaning a certain way or another. Now, again, let's just take the Botox, for example. You have the option of Botox, or you have the option of, let's say, dermal rolling and face tape and face yoga, and which takes time and energy, or we can just go and inject. That is one example. Same with the BP or whatever it is. Now, I don't know enough that I could be talking out of my bum here, but I have heard it talk about, for inflammation and all these kinds of things. But the amount of people that jump on these quick fixes, it just blows my mind. Now, I'm also talking in business. The amount of people that see this, how to make a 20K month, oh, that's a quick fix. How to double your income in 90 days. Oh, that's a quick fix. Like that we are jumping on these fastest, the next strategy, the next program, the next, rebound, the next rebound. There we go. How's that one? Divorce, rebound, bang, quick fix, make me feel good, make me feel like I'm worthy, make me feel like I'm doing something. The next identity hack, let's rebrand again. And that was sort of for a long time in the early stages of my business. I felt like I was throwing a lot of shit at the wall and hoping something would stick, because I was looking at, oh, she's doing it that way and that works that way and this doesn't work. So let's switch it over here, right? But all of these things that we do are so narrow-minded, because they are selling the end result, but they're selling it in a way that is quick, right? And who wants to have patience? I mean, is patience boring? Consistency is boring. I know that shortcuts sell. Quick fixes, they make you feel really powerful. They give you dopamine. They make you feel like you're in control. But what quick fixes don't do, they do not build depth. Quick fixes do not build capacity. Quick fixes and new strategies don't build self-trust for your own intuition, for your own passion, for your own purpose, right? Quick fixes don't build education around, let's say, diet and nutrition and going to the gym and getting sunlight in your eyes. And, instead of, tanning, it's like, let's get up first thing in the morning and ground and, see the sun in the later of the day. I see the sun in the earlier day. Like quick fixes don't actually build that strong connection with yourself, with your business, with your intuition, with nature. It just gives you something to make you feel like you're getting to where you want to go faster. Now, this is where I know that it's hard to say a lot of people fall down, but if you were to be really, really honest with yourself about the energy that you are putting into your business and the energy that it actually takes to build, grow, and scale to a level that makes you feel good and like you're successful and satisfied, could you honestly say that a quick fix is going to be the satisfaction in getting you there? Because I was actually just listening to a podcast and it was in the room. This CEO was in the room with business owners that were making 30 mil plus of revenue a year. And one thing he noticed was they were just not happy. I just noticed how unhappy a lot of these people were. They were always chasing the next dollar, the next best strategy to improve their business, but they were not happy. And this really went to my heart because if we can bust our ass and hustle and drive, but if we don't know why, if we aren't willing to go on the journey, if we aren't willing to learn and, infuse knowledge and infuse our craft, then we're constantly going to be chasing for the next thing because nothing's actually going to feel like it's enough. You're never going to feel like you're worthy. You're never going to feel like you're satisfied, right? Women and men, but I know I talk mainly to women, what we need is a capacity to hold the life that you say you want. Now, capacity is not built in quick fixes. Capacity is built in the journey. Capacity isn't built in learning how to build a strong foundation. Capacity is built in learning how to trust yourself. And the woman that you are trying to build right now in your life has to be built through the hard parts. If we are bypassing our hard parts, bypassing the fact that we're unhappy, bypassing the overwork, bypassing the fact that we don't feel integrity in our business, right? You will keep falling flat on your face. You will keep feeling unsatisfied. You will keep attracting crappy clients. You might attract the money. I mean, there are plenty of people that are workhorses that can just make money. But again, are they the ones that are happy and satisfied? What is it that you are trying to create and why? And what skills do you need to learn along the way that are actually going to grow and build your strong foundation and your capacity to hold that level of money and life that you actually desire? I had two conversations with women in my DMs on Instagram, and one's like, I had to give up my job so that I could, because I'm a full-time mum, right? That was her choice. And yes, being a mum is an absolute full-time job. Absolutely. And choosing to give up your job so that you can do that is an absolute personal choice. But I would also say, what is it that you are not able to hold the capacity in your life to be able to do both? And interestingly, one thing that has always come really easy to me is that I have been able to I have an ability to hold big capacity in my life. I have the ability to not have a lot of sleep. I have the ability to work really hard. I have I was breastfeeding babies and they were like really young and pregnant. I was pregnant for a lot of my career, or careers, I should say. But when you actually find your North Star and what you want, the journey is in building the capacity so that you can have it, right? So this isn't about I had to give up my job so I could be a full-time mum. This is, how do I build the capacity to do both if I actually want to do that? And this is where the radical honesty part really comes in, because it's okay to maybe not want to do that job. It's okay to not feel inspired. It's okay to want to be a full-time mum. It's okay to want to do both. But what I find is when we're so out of touch with who we are and what we want, we make reasons and we have excuses and we try and navigate life in a way that maybe isn't aligned with what we actually want because it feels safer. And I also know that when we are wanting something in our life, and fill in the blank, it doesn't have to be a scalable business and all these sorts of things. You might be in an extremely beautiful and happy marriage with a husband that wants, that is earning really good income, and you might be a stay-at-home mum and you love your role and you love providing. This authenticity and identity piece is about giving yourself permission to go, who am I and what do I actually want outside of all the programming? But when we're constantly looking for these quick fixes, whether it's stop working or start working or scale or, peptides, whatever it is, then we're kind of missing the whole point of life, right? Now, the other lady that I was speaking to is I've actually got a proper call with her next week, so I haven't had a really good chat. We've just been voice noting. She has built an incredible business, but through overworking and hustle, and she's got money, she's got a family, all these things, and she's taken the foot off the pedal. And one of her voice notes to me was, I know what I want when it comes to money and a car and a lifestyle, but I don't know what I want in terms of my big picture, because I'm really scared that if I state that, then I'm going to have to reinvent myself, work really hard, go through overwork and burnout again to get there. And I was like, wow, that is so true of so many women. And this is what happens when we build businesses and lives without the North Star, because all we can see is the reason that we're doing it is for the money, is for the car, is for whatever it is. But the heart is like, no, we want to know why we're actually doing this. Why are we working hard? Why are we not resting? Or maybe we are resting. Why are we doing things in a way that just feels so pushy and hustle? And why am I overworked and burnt out? These are the questions that we get to ask ourselves. But instead we go to that, oh, I did it that way and I don't want to do it again. We go to black and white. And when we haven't enjoyed and worked on our identity and worked on ourselves through the journey, this is how I see so many women end up in this place. If I work like I did before, then I'm going to not have enough time with my family. Then my connection with my husband's going to be lost. Then, you all fill in the blank for your own story. But it doesn't actually have to be that way. This is what is marketed to us over and over again on social media, through CEO boss bitches, is this whole idea that we can, have these big businesses and big money, but it's going to cost you. And yes, there is a cost to everything, but it doesn't have to be the cost of the journey, because the cost of the journey is where the growth and evolution lies. Now, evolution, it is not this loud, scalable system, right? And growth is not always exciting. In fact, growth is really uncomfortable. Like, to grow, you have to get uncomfortable. You have to face off with yourself. All these beautiful things that you might have experienced, I can guarantee you, were once not beautiful. We have to face off with parts of ourselves that we don't want to look at. It is not exciting, but becoming powerful, becoming and growing is repetitive, and it is not exactly, but it can be really confronting, but also boring. Because at that time where there's the season where maybe the revenue is flat, where your motivation dips, where life happens, where you question yourself, whether you are feeling overworked, where the discipline of showing up when no one is clapping, when you have someone judge you on social media, when you have someone judging you for changing careers, when your husband says you've been at work too much, the patience of refining yourself in those moments instead of just escaping and stopping, that is the journey. The patience of going, okay, well, let's look at this from more angles. Why is my revenue flat? Where am I not feeling magnetic in my business and in my life? Because remember, everything touches everything. Could be the life, could be your relationship. Why is my motivation dipped? Is my motivation dipped because I'm feeling out of alignment with what I'm selling? Is my motivation dipped because my energy is dipped? Because I need a break, I need a holiday? Are you running away and escaping? Or do you have the patience to sit in these boring moments and actually refine yourself and what you're doing on your journey? Because this is the part that no one talks about. This is the part that, you might go to the gym for the first few months and see this incredible body, and this is what happened when I started going to Adapt. I was like, wow, my body changed so quickly. I feel strong. And then it kind of just dips. And then you kind of have to be like, oh, well, I've done that now. But to actually get the full cardiovascular, to keep the strength, to keep your body in shape, to keep your metabolism going, to keep your self-discipline, you have to keep going, even when you can't see the big results like you did in the beginning. And this is how business works. This is how relationships work. This is how motherhood work. You don't just arrive at that destination. You expand your capacity because you are working with yourself on the journey, through the boring parts, through the boredom, through the consistency, through the discomfort of not feeling aligned, and the why isn't this moving faster? Moving through that. And this is the patience. These moments in life and in business aren't proof that you are failing, but they are proof that you are being strengthened and building your capacity to be able to hold what you want without jumping off the other side of the bridge. We want to keep momentum because the hard parts that you keep facing, they are not punishment. They are preparing you for what is to come. Because I can guarantee you, patience, it builds emotional regulation. Consistency, it builds your identity. Repetition, it builds your self-trust. And delayed gratification, well, that builds power and integrity. And the women who can hold wealth, love, leadership, visibility is the woman who stayed when it wasn't sexy. Now, I'm not telling you when it's not sexy to not reflect. I'm telling you to really have a look at what is working, what is not working, where you're out of alignment, what your desires are. And if the way in which you're showing up is not working, it's not about quick cut and run. It's about why. Why is this not working? Why doesn't this feel good with me and for me anymore? Because when you pivot, pivoting requires self-assessment and honesty so that you know exactly where you're pivoting to. You keep looking for the faster path or the easier strategy or the softer way or the way that you can bypass social media or the way where you don't have to, show up, or you keep looking for the validation that you're doing it right, someone to pat you on the back. You will stay in the beginner part of your world. You'll stay in beginner energy. You will not be scaling. But if you commit to refinement, to discipline, to emotional maturity, to long-term thinking, you build a woman who cannot be shaken. And let me tell you right now, when it comes to all these quick fixes and the next strategy and the 20K months and the, build this in 90 days and let me show you how I did it once and I'm going to tell you how to do it forever. Let me tell you, the woman who cannot be shaken, when you build her, that is the leadership that is required to hold the life that you want. That is wealth. That is self-respect. So I really, really implore you to stop asking how to make it faster and start asking, who are you becoming in your process? Because the woman you want to be, it is not built in the shortcut and the bypass. She is built in the repetition, in the patience, in the hard conversations, in the consistency that no one sees. And let me tell you, when she finally arrives, it won't look like luck or some golden strategy. It will look like, oh, I get it. This was inevitable. You are meant to arrive here. So I really want to implore you to actually go all in on yourself. And that means going all in, not just parts of your life, not just burning out and hustling, but going all in on yourself is like, what do I want and why? What am I building and why? What is my North Star? Go all in on that. Stay when it's uncomfortable. Refine when you are bored in your business and stop living your life by default. Really, really go all in and start living it with razor sharp intention. I can guarantee you, if you can master this skill, your life will turn around very, very quickly. Let me know what you think. If this is actually resonating with you right now, this is the woman that we build in the academy. There are no quick fixes, but I tell you what, there is fast growth when you are so in line with who you are and what you want and how you show up, when you can commit to the identity energy that you are creating, when you are already her, when you are in a room of women that are committed to the same thing. This is where we jump timelines. So I will never sit here and promise you quick fixes, because I believe that my woman that I work with wants the journey. She wants the growth. She wants the expansion, because when she gets to that destination that she is calling in so deeply, she wants to be so happy and satisfied there. That's the women I talk to. If you want to book a connection call and have a little deep dive with me, the link is in the bottom. Click it, do it. Let's go. I see you. I want to hold you, and we get to do this together. I'll see you next week.